بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله أما بعد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رجلا قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أوصيني قال لا تغضب فردد مرارا قال لا تغضب أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام ربي صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. Hadith number 24 in the chapter of Sabr, narrated by Hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that a person, he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for an advice, and he said that, "Awsini, give me advice, give me wasiyat." So this person, name has not been mentioned. However, Hafiz ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi, he says that it might be Jari ibn Qudama radiallahu anhu, and another opinion is it might be Sufyan ibn Abdullah al-Thaqafi radiallahu anhu. So the person, the individual, the Sahabi came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for an advice. Allama Badruddin Aini rahmatullahi alayhi, he explains in Umdatul Qari that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was approached in different times by different individuals with the same word, awsini, that give me advice. So Ibn Allama Badruddin Aini rahmatullahi alayhi says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would respond according to the person who has approached him and who has put the question forward. So looking at the situation of that person, looking at his halat, looking at his qualities, looking at the difficulty that he may be in, taking all that into consideration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would respond to that individual. So in this hadith, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave the advice, very short, very simple, one word, la taghdab, one small sentence, do not become angry, do not get angry. So the Sahabi, this individual, faraddada miraran, he repeated that question several times, that, "O Prophet of Allah, give me some advice, give me some advice, give me some advice." So each time Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he replied with the same answer, "La taghdab, do not get angry, la taghdab, do not get angry." So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he very short and very advised. This was a miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we have the ahadith where very simple words have been mentioned, but the meaning behind that hadith, volumes and volumes have been written. Previously we mentioned about Ya Umair ma fa'al al-Nughair, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he saw the child Umair, and he had a pet by the name of Nughair, the bird pet. So he passed away. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam just said that sentence, that, "Oh Umair, what's happened to Nughair?" Now from there, about 99 masail have been derived from that. Different masail have been taken out from this one short, simple hadith. So here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again he gave a very short advice. So what we learn from this is that we have to also sometimes think, look at the situation, and according to that speak. Sometimes the person that you're speaking to, the audience, they are such that simple sentences, simple words will make sense to them, and they would understand it, and they will get your message. But sometimes in the classroom, or wherever you're talking to, it might be our children, it might be somebody that you're addressing, they require further explanation. So keep it simple, keep it short. However, sometimes if you need to elaborate, you will, depending on talk through that level, understand their level, talk to on their level, talk their language, then inshallah it will become easier for the other person to understand your message. So here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that la taghdab. Now why did he say this? It's possible by looking at that individual. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he realized that this guy has this sahabi, this individual, this person has this issue. This has this illness of becoming angry, and that was the moment where Prophet ﷺ thought that I can give this advice. Very simple. Now, la taghdab, what does it mean? Hafiz ibn Hajar Asqalani rahmatullahi alayhi quotes and records from Allama Khattabi rahmatullahi alayhi that la taghdab, one of the meaning is that stay away from those causes and those reasons that make you angry. Stay away from those causes and those reasons. Whatever leads you to this anger, stay away from it. Stay away from that. Or number two, do not allow the signs of anger come on you. Your face getting red and your veins popping out, and you can see all that strength in your hand. So do not allow any of these signs of becoming angry on you. Why did we take this meaning out? Why can't you just say don't get angry? The reason for that is because anger is naturally there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed anger in the humans. So it's there. You can't take that out of the person. The emotions are there, anger is there. So we can't take that, remove that out of the person. So here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that do not go near those causes and the reasons that makes you angry, or do not allow the signs of anger come on you as well. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave this answer and he gave this advice to this Sahabi radiallahu anhu. Now obviously anger is something that's in the explanation of in Ihya al-Ulum, Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi, he said that فَإِنَّ الْغَضَبَ شُعْلَةُ نَارٍ. Anger is like fire, flame of fire. It's like flame of fire. Now it reaches the heart, and what it does is that it corrupts the heart. It corrupts the heart, it affects the heart, and then a person, because of this illness in the heart, his heart, as we know in the hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that the heart is the king of the body. If the heart is sound, is healthy, the rest of the limbs of the body, the rest of the limbs and the rest of the body will also be healthy and will also function correctly. But if that king of the heart of the body, the king of the body, the heart, if that's corrupted, then the limbs of the body will also be corrupted. So anger is something that corrupts a person's heart. Anger is something that corrupts a person's heart, and this Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi is trying to say here that we need to understand that anger is like fire, and shaitan is made out of fire. خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. Whereas the human are being made are created from clay. Now what does a fire do? Fire goes upwards and it destroys. Whereas clay, if you leave it, it'll come down and he humbles himself. So here Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi is trying to say that we as humans are made out of clay. We need to humble ourselves. We need to keep ourselves calm, not like be the part of shaitan and become the victim of shaitan, where we become like fire and we raise ourselves and become angry and become means of destruction. So here Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi is trying to highlight to us that heart is something that we need to concentrate on, and anger is something that corrupts the heart. We need to make sure that at that moment have sabr, be patient, be forbearance, and control your anger as well. Sulaiman bin Dawood rahmatullahi alayhi salatu wasalam, Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, he was told that Ya bunayya iyaya wa kathratil ghadab, that be aware, O my son, be aware of anger. Why? فَإِنَّ كَثْرَةَ الْغَضَبِ تَسْتَخِفُ فُؤَادَ الرَّجُلِ الْحَلِيمِ. The anger weakens the heart of a wise person. Anger weakens the heart of the wise person. Now we have many examples in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, himself as well, in the Sahaba's life, in Tabi'in's life, in Abu Akabir's life as well, where they were provoked, they would try to be made angry, but they controlled themselves for that reason. So if it is for the right reason, to become angry, that is praiseworthy. But for their own personal reason, they would not become angry. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, in his era, narrated by Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that when he was the Khalifa in his time, what he had was that, remember, Umar radiallahu anhu was a Khalifa, but everybody had access to him. Anybody could come to him and question him. However, during the day there was a period where he had a separate majlis just for his close individuals, that he had special shura made, that these were khususi individuals that he would have mashwaras with. And there was only those people who were allowed to come into that gathering. Nobody else would have the permission. So during the day, everybody would have the access, but there was a time in the day where his khas shura that was made. Only those individuals from the ulama, from the scholars, and from the qurra, that were given permission. And one of them is known as by Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi. He was a tabi'i. Now he had an uncle who was a sahabi. So he had an uncle who was a sahabi by the name of U'ayna bin Hisn radiallahu anhu. So U'ayna radiallahu anhu. Now U'ayna radiallahu anhu wasn't part of the shura. So even though he was the uncle, he wasn't part of the shura. So he once stayed in the home of Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi, and he became his guest. And when he was at his home, he said to his nephew that, look, you're very lucky, you get to go to this special gathering. Why don't you request Umar radiallahu anhu that I can join this gathering tomorrow? I can join this gathering tomorrow. Now, the nephew Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi, he tried to explain to him that, look, if you're going to come into this gathering, you have to make sure that you honor Umar radiallahu anhu. So, after the permission was given, the next day when the gathering took place of the shura, the uncle U'ayna radiallahu anhu also came along with Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi. Came to the gathering, and the uncle, he said to Umar radiallahu anhu, what kind of person are you that you don't invite me to this gathering? You haven't kept me in this gathering, involved me in this gathering. What kind of person are you? Now, Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi was present at that moment. He realized that this person has triggered Umar radiallahu anhu off. And he can see the anger. And he had a asa, he had his stick with him as well. So Hurr bin Qais thought that's it, he's the dead person. Now he's going to get beaten up. He's going to learn a lesson today. So immediately Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi, he went to Umar radiallahu anhu, and he read the ayat. He read the ayat of the Quran. خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. خُذِ الْعَفْوَ, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that forgive people, pardon them. وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ, and also treat them in a good manner. And advise them in a polite manner. وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ, and refrain from people, those who are arrogant and ignorant. Don't go to them, just ignore them. So when these verses were recited in front of Umar radiallahu anhu, Hurr bin Qais rahmatullahi alayhi was trying to indicate to Umar radiallahu anhu that my uncle of mine is from minal jahilin, from those who are ignorant, arrogant. So pardon him and forgive him and advise him in a polite manner. So immediately Umar radiallahu anhu, he calmed down. He was able to control his anger. What we learn from this is Sahaba radiallahu anhu's nature and mizaj was such that as soon as a verse of the Quran was revealed or a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was mentioned in front of them, immediately they would act upon that. They wouldn't take anything personal. They wouldn't try to twist the meaning of the ayat of the hadith. Or it could mean this, or it could mean that. No, this is the moment where I need to sort him out. No, immediately they would act upon it. Like this very long story of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and we know the story of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anhu. We know the whole incident about the ifk, where slandering, she was, the whole incident. So in this incident of ifk, the cousin brother of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Hazrat Mistah radiallahu anhu, he was also part of those group who falsely accused Aisha radiallahu anhu. So you can imagine the daughter has been accused by the cousin brother, and at that moment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hadn't cleared her innocence. No verses were revealed. So once the verses were revealed that Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, she is pure from this. The verses of Bara'at were revealed. And the Aisha radiallahu anhu was cleared from this accusation and this slander. That Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, now remember he was a very wealthy person. So he would have, on his daily, monthly basis, a few families or individuals, relatives, non-relatives that he would provide for certain amount. So he would give on a daily, monthly basis. Now his cousin brother, that Mistah radiallahu anhu, was also part of that list that he would provide for. Now when these verses were revealed, he took an oath that I'm never going to, I'm never going to, continue funding him and continue helping him because of what he has done to my daughter. So this was his reaction. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, out of anger, said this. So now he stopped providing for Hazrat Mistah radiallahu anhu. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later on revealed a verse, especially for that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, وَلَا يَأْتَلِ أُولُو الْفَضْلِ مِنْكُمْ وَالسَّعَةِ أَن يُؤْتُوا لِلْقُرْبَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, that he is such that he provides for his families and non-families, for those poor, those who need. However, he shouldn't hold himself by providing for them. He shouldn't hold himself by giving it to them and providing for them. When these verses were revealed, the message was to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu that continue providing for your cousin brother the way you used to before. Now Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, even though he had took qasam, he broke his qasam, he paid the compensation, but immediately because the verses were revealed, his anger was out of the way. The ayat are there in front of me, he acted upon the ayat, and then he continued to provide for his cousin brother. So the lesson that we learn from this hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu is that very simple: control your anger. Control your anger. Whatever causes your anger, try to stay away from that, try to refrain from that. And if for some reason you've gone to that stage where you are going to become angry, again, control yourself. Don't express your anger. The steps of we mentioned about controlling the anger, try to bring them in front of you and practice on them. Then inshallah you'll be able to control yourself. And the second lesson that we also learn is that how do we talk to people, come down to their level, come to their understanding, and try to keep it simple, and in that way they will be able to get the correct message. And we also learn that when we speak to somebody, look at the situation. Not every advice is for everyone. Sometimes the person is in a difficult situation or is in a different situation. One advice will be beneficial for him. The same advice may not be beneficial for him at that moment. He may need some further advice, or he may need a different advice. So when we are approached and we need to give some mashwara or give advice, look at the person's halat and situation, and according to that, give the advice, inshallah. That will be more better and beneficial. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to act upon what has been heard and what has been mentioned, and give us the ability to have these qualities in our life where we have sabr, we have shukr, and we have controlling our anger. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة ما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا رب.